Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Sudhaji, and welcome to the Bombay Management Association. It gives me great pleasure, and it's my unique honor and privilege as the president of the Bombay Management Association to welcome Sangeeta Kalnidhi, Padma Bhushan Awardee, Dr. Sudha Raghunathan among our midst. Welcome, Sudhaji. It's a
Thank you.
pleasure to have you at the Bombay Management Association, and we look forward to a very enriching evening with you. As
My
part
pleasure.
of our webinars, which we have been conducting for the Bombay Management Association and its members and fellow professionals, we began this journey when the lockdown was imminent in April. And I'm delighted to share with all of us here present today that this is our 75th webinar. And Sudhaji, we are indeed blessed that we have a luminary like you gracing the occasion on our 75th webinar, which we are organizing for our members. Through this period, we've had several sessions relating to management, self-development, yoga, taking care of one's mind and body and soul, and tried to have a good mix of programs for the members and their families. Therefore, it was very appropriate that we had someone like you today, whom we believe is an icon and torchbearer of Carnatic music in the country, to be with us to grace the occasion on this evening. For those very few of us who may have not known about Dr. Sudha Raghunathan, may I just share with you that her passion for music is about almost 4 decades and has been the recipient of over 50 awards in the field of music from various bodies, both national, international. She has graced several platforms, stages, and auditoriums across the world and has really enamored people with her unique style of singing and her passion and commitment to Carnatic music. What's extremely interesting about Dr. Sudha Raghunathan is over the last couple of years, she herself has been hosting several successful talk shows relating to music, relating to films, and connecting with people who make a positive difference in the lives of people. One of her most famous shows is called Expressions Expresso, and you can find it in YouTube too, where she has had wonderful interactions with luminaries like A.R. Rahman, Shankar Mahadevan, Vidya Balan, just to name a few. Her talk shows are as popular as her musical concerts. So she's a unique combination of someone who really is committed to music, and her passion for music leads her into engaging discussions with luminaries in the field of music and the film world. Let me also add on to tell you that she runs an NGO which focuses on educating children and taking care of children in distress. Such is the personality of this wonderful person who have graced the occasion here this evening for us at the Bombay Management Association. Welcome once again, Dr. Sudha Raghunathan, and may I request you to share your wisdom with us as part of our Wednesday Wisdom webinars. Over to you, Dr. Sudha Raghunathan.
Namaste and good evening to everyone present here. Right away, I would like to thank BMA, the Bombay Management Association, and of course, BMA's president, Professor RSS Maniji. Thank you for giving me this unique privilege of addressing and probably sharing a few of my experiences and the thoughts that have sprouted out of those experiences. We've heard the saying, once bitten, twice shy. And you know why I'm saying that? Because this particular episode was supposed to have taken place in the November of 2020. And you wouldn't imagine that we had a power cut in Chennai because of thunderstorm and heavy rains. And I had to request Professor Mani to stall the program and push it to a future date. And today I realize the reason why that happened on 25th November. It was because the Almighty had destined me to be present for the 75th webinar of VMA.
Absolutely.
So it gives me double pleasure to know that this is the 75th, and I'm sure 100 will come in as soon as possible. With somebody working as enterprisingly as Professor Mani, I'm sure it's not too far off. You'll find the right people to address the gatherings. Each one of us takes on a journey in life. And when we walk that path, each of us learns so much. I must say that music seems like, a profession that involves only music. You learn music, you practice music, you sing music, you entertain an audience with music. That's what people think. But I feel music covers a larger spectrum than just the 7 notes of Sari Gama Padani. There's so much to learn. And all of that, I must say, I learned under the tutelage of my revered Guru, Padma Bhushan Sangeeta Kalnidhi, Dr. M.L. Vasantakumari Amma. The Guru Shishya Parampara in classical music. That is what I'm precisely going to talk about today. And when we talk about Guru Shishya Parampara, I would have to cover the gurus that I have learned from prior to M.L. Vyama as well. Gurukulavasam is a term, is a word that is used very often in the field of art, in the space of art and culture. What does it mean? The word expresses the meaning. Guru Kula Vasa. One who stays with the Guru and comes under the lineage of that Guru and serves the Guru with not only action and thought, but with love, respect, and admiration. Gurukula Vasam began for me very early because my first Guru was my own mother, Srimati Chudamani. And what better way to start off? I played with my toys. I sat and doodled with my hair. I sat painting. At the same time, I was humming whatever Amma used to teach me. It wasn't like I was sitting prim-prom before her and she would say, sing this, and I would sing it. She would just sing and I would just sing as I played along. It was more fun for me than some serious learning. And hence, I think I loved and enjoyed every minute of that journey. Before my Guru M.L. Vyama's training, I was also with Sri T.V. Vishwanathan and B.V. Lakshmanan of the B.V. Raman Lakshman brothers. In 1977, we all have a turning point in life where we think we are on the right track, but there is a call from somewhere that says, nudges you and says, hey, this is not your journey, and diverts you to another path. At that point of time, in 1977, I was confused whether I was doing the right thing by taking on the central government scholarship offer to learn with M.L. Vyama. My passion was to study. I had taken up economics and I wanted to sit for the IAS and the IFS exams. Just at that point, believe me, I mean, the synchronization in time, the coincidence is so surreal when I think of it now. Just when I was going to get my application, this appearing before a panel came along, and my mother nudged me to appear for that. And I just did it out of sheer obedience to my mother. But as I told you, the call comes from above. And I think God had already decided that I should be in the profession of music. So there was a green signal with the scholarship. And today I realized that I could not have been with a greater guru than the legend Emelviyama. She was just not a guru. She was my second mother, my philosopher, my guide, my friend, someone whom I could cry to, someone whom I could laugh with, someone whom I could joke with, could ask umpteen number of doubts. It was just everything comprised in one personality. I know every guru is a wonderful guru. If I asked Professor Mani, he would say his mentor was the best. If I asked my friend Usha, she would say, my mentor is the best. Of course, all mentors are the best, but mine was better than the best. I really mean it when I say that, because yet up to date, there is not a single human being that I have come across who matches those wonderful traits that Emelviyama held within her. How did I learn with her? It was Gurukula Vasan. Yes, I would stay with her most of the time, besides the time that I spent at college. The Vasam happened, but the Guru Shishya learning was completely different. Different from what I had experienced before I came into MLV fold. There was no sitting together and learning. There was no repetition of phrases. There was no homework that was given to me, and I had to report the next day with the learning. Everything was just with the ear. I had to absorb whatever I listened. I had to take in, internalize everything that Emelviyama did, performed on stage. And then kind of analyze that, take the best out of it, compile it into points and put it down. Not in writing, but here in thought. It was a challenge for me. It was extremely difficult, believe me, initially, because her style, her parampara itself, is a very demanding one. The speed with which she sings the phrases, the multi-layered raga alaps that she would do, the unsurpassable way of presenting the swara prastar, her voice, the brigas, the oscillations, the jarus, the speed, the manodharma speed, everything was like, you just had to be a blotting paper where if ink spilled and you put the blotting paper, it would just absorb. You had to be working at that speed. So alert, because everything that she dropped as she walked, the journey was precious. And if we didn't pick it up, it was our loss. So I shook myself up and I said, I'm not going to give up this challenge that she has put forth to me. I'm going to work very hard. I'm going to prove that the fact that she had accepted me as her disciple was something that she would validate herself, not repent for having taken me. It was a journey of 13 years. And 13 years of traveling with her, sitting at home with her, doing the household chores, doing her shopping, doing her letter writing. That is what Gurukulavasam is all about. Not just learning music, but doing everything for the Guru. It came to a point where she never even had to tell me what to do. Just a batting of the eyelid or just looking at me, I would understand that, oh, yes, this was what I had to do next. Numerous performances on stage where I gave her vocal support. I would have to correct that statement. Not gave her vocal support, had the opportunity of providing vocal support, strengthened me, made me courageous enough to be able to face any kind of audience. Those who knew so much about music, those who didn't know anything about music, those who came into an auditorium just to check out what was happening, but had no knowledge of Carnatic music. You know, it's easy to sing to a sabis, but it's not easy to sing to a distracted audience who doesn't know much about music. How do you hold them? It's with the power and the energy of the music. All of this was a learning for me. And of course, I must tell you that there were lots of moments of fun when we traveled overseas. She was a very fun loving person, full of jokes always, you know, trying to make fun of you always. You had to be alert to be able to understand that she was never serious, even when she chided you. There was always that light layer that would be there in her expressions. I must share with you what happened at Brockwood Park, just to tell you what kind of a human being Emeliama was. Brockwood Park was an hour away from London, and we had gone there to present a concert at one of the schools run by J. Krishnamurti, Jiddu. And when we went there, we had to take huge bags because we had to go and change. And then, of course, when we travel, we always have our passports and currency with us. So I had my own bag and I had Emil Yama's bag with me. We went, we ate, we changed, freshened up, and went to the concert. It was a kind of a makeshift auditorium where there was a stage that was set up, and behind the stage, there was a crevice. And since the stage was small, I thought I would put the bags behind in that spot so that it would not take away the aesthetic appearance of the stage. So I put Emil Yama's bag, which was bigger than mine, and we presented the concert. Of course, the audience loved Emil Yama, and they gave her a standing ovation. We had dinner, we got into the taxi, and we came back. When we came into London, she said, "Give me the bag, Sudha. I need to take the house key." We were staying at a house which was given to us by one of her friends. So she said, "I need to take the house key." And then I looked down and I looked at my side. I couldn't find the bag. I panicked. I literally panicked because it was midnight. And I was wondering what she was going to say, how she would scold me. I mean, how embarrassing it might become for me in front of the other accompanying artists. How could I have done this? I mean, I was so guilt-ridden that I didn't know what to do. I started to stutter. She said, "What is it?" I asked for the bag. So I said, "No, Ma, I think I left it back at Brockwood Park." Because I didn't realize where it was, but I knew it wasn't with me. It took me some time to go back and recollect those moments when I had put the bag behind the stage in that dark space, which I call the crevice. I thought she was really going to scream at me, and because it was midnight and we didn't know where we were going to stay. But you wouldn't believe what she did. She said, "Paravalle, Sudha. It's okay, Sudha. These things happen. You go back with Manarbudi Ishwaran. He was the Mridangist. You go with Ichanna, go back in the same taxi. Don't come back, drive back in the night. Stay there, request for a room and stay there, and come back in the morning. I'll find a way to handle this." And apparently, she stayed at the neighbor's house. I was like flummoxed, if I might say that, like a mixture of surprise, of relief, of gratitude, of awe at this person who had handled the situation so easily. So we went back, drove back. Of course, it was there. And I took the bag and kept it with me. And we came back the next morning. But that one incident taught me so much about how to handle grave situations. Situations where you're thrown against the wall or thrown into the waters, and you have to be pleasant and nice and not let the situation get the better of you. Taught me so many lessons. That is just one incident. There have been so many in those 13 years where MLVMR has taught me how to lead life as such, handle very difficult situations, and never let challenges get the better of you. She would always say that. And I have faced several challenges in life where I never let the challenge become bigger than me, become bigger than how I could handle it. That's what I mean. I would always find a solution for it. And the solution would never happen immediately. I would leave it. When there was something that I needed to handle, I would just leave it at that point of time. And the next day, the solution would just come up. So, how did the Gurukulam happen? Was it only all of this that happened? No, there was everything. All the music that I can claim to know today found its foundation in those 13 years. Every concert, she would sing at least 5 kritis that I didn't know. And then I would go home and learn those 5 kritis from recordings, from notations. And slowly my number of kritis started to increase. And at a certain point of time, I even got a smile from her and she said, "Paravalle, nariya homework பண்ணிருக்க." To just get that one sentence from her was like winning a lottery. You know, gurus don't praise you every day. Gurus don't pat your back every day. But when they do, it means so much to you that you hold it within the chambers of the heart and cherish it till your last moment. So there are a few compliments that she gave me that I still remember. Like there was another moment when we had to handle something at a government office in Karnataka, and she sent me to Bangalore alone. And when she gave me that assignment, I looked at her and I said, I don't know anyone there. How am I going to handle it? She said, "Nee seiva, onnala mudiyum." See, that confidence that my guru had was enough for me to complete the errand. In 1990, when she was bedridden, she took this promise from me that I would sing the Margari concerts, which were, I think, about 15 of them. And I was carrying my daughter at that point of time. She probably realized that I might evade singing the Margari. So she took a promise from me in as early as July or June that I would perform the Margari. She said, "Enna karanam kondu இந்த மார்கழியை விடக்கூடாது. You have to perform." And I think that promise gave me that equipped me with the courage and confidence and all the energy that I required to perform 15 concerts when I was carrying Malvika uh, about 8 months. Of course, she was born 13 days after 17 days after the last concert. And apparently today is Malvika's birthday. So there has been so much of learning, not only the musical aspect, but a holistic kind, just built the entire personality, gave me all that support that is required to lead a life of peace and harmony with music flowing in it. How would I practice? Her practice methods was totally different from what one would ever imagine they would have been. She told me that her guru, GNB, GN Balasubramanian sir, would never make her sit and sing before him. He would just rattle off the kritis. She had to notate it at jet set speed, go home and sit with it. The same applied to me. It was more like a PhD. I was more like a PhD student, who goes into the library, who goes into reading a lot of papers, referring to a lot of things that were done earlier, and then compiling your own paper. I had to do all of that by myself. And I realized that in itself, that method in itself, equipped me with more strength and the wherewithal to be able to face any kind of kriti that or RTP that I had to sing. If I prepared it the earlier day or that morning of the concert, I would be able to do it in the evening. That was the streak of adventure that it had in it, her method of teaching. How does one educate youngsters of today? Now I'm moving from my learning with MLVMA to what is happening today. How do I teach youngsters? It's almost the same method. My core students still learn the way I learned through the MLV. Most of the learning is done by them in their own space, at their own pace. And when they come to me, they clear all their doubts. I make them sing the more intricate patterns and the more challenging phrases. And when they do, I correct them. I ask them to do practice in certain ways so that that little deficiency gets overridden. The importance of practice. Practice is something that one cannot live without, especially in music. A single day that you don't sing, the next day, the voice will show it to you. Like how the physical being requires exercise, the voice also requires exercise. You don't have to sing for hours together, but a basic 10-minute or 15-minute segment of practice is extremely important. And to throw focus on the importance of practice, I am now running a program called Abhyasam in my own YouTube channel, Simply Sudha, which has Abhyasam as perceived by different artists. I started the series, and now we have, I think, about 6 or 7 brilliant youngsters who have expressed themselves as to how they practice and what had been taught to them and how they take the practice forward. There's one more thing that I would like to share with you in what I learned in my Gurukula Vasam, and that was about the openness of mind and heart in learning and listening. MLVMR advocated that should never restrict oneself to listening to only a particular genre of music or a particular parampara of music. She would say, listen to everything. Go and listen to everyone's concert. Take the best, imbibe the best out of every artist that you see. Maybe you will listen to 50 artists, but your mind tells you that your music might blend with the traits of a few of those. So she would say, listen to everything. Never, say, push away anything as trivial, as not important. Listen, be open and listen to everything. And I think that philosophy or that expression has helped me walk this journey with more comfort because today I can listen to anything, folk music, Hindustani music, just instrumental, just percussion, metal rock, Beyonce, Congo music, African music, just anything, Oriental. I always connect myself with the melody or the rhythm. And then once you connect yourself, you don't feel that it's something alien, that you're not able to understand that music. Why do you need to understand music? You need to enjoy music. You need to get into that space, not try and decipher whether is this Kiravani, is this a major note? What are they doing there? No, that is later. Initially, you need to get into that space. And that is something that we all face, that challenge we face when we sing at concerts, especially with just the white population who are not familiar with our music. What do we do over there? How do we communicate to people? Now, for example, if I sing at the Louvre or at the Théâtre de la Ville in Paris, how do I communicate to an audience of 1,000 who are mostly French, who don't know our notes, who don't know the classical music that I sing? What I do is I present what I'm going to sing in a few words. Sometimes I speak in French and tell them that this is the raga, that this is the essence of the lyrics in the composition. And then I start to sing. And in concerts as these, it would be beneficial to sing more of raga and swaras because they don't have the language. The language is the lyrics are the problem, are the challenge, because it goes above their head. They're not able to understand what we're singing. But they're able to connect to the raga and the swaras, and they love the rhythm. So that's how we reach out to an audience who are not familiar with our music. Besides the core students that I told you that I'm teaching, I have also opened up. This lockdown period has been a learning for me that I need to transfer what I have learned to more youngsters, that I would get the joy of having, transfer the torch of the GNB Parampara, the MLV Parampara to more youngsters who would love to learn. And that has happened with my own academy, the Sudha Academy for Musical Excellence. Through that, I have been teaching on Zoom to students worldwide. There are a few from Australia, from the US. And I think the seriousness, their passion, their commitment to learning has been an eye-opener for me. And I think I would continue to do that even beyond the lockdown period, the teaching. It would certainly benefit not only me, because when you teach, it opens up certain vistas in your music, certain dimensions that you have never thought of. Because when they ask a doubt, that's when you think, oh, this raga, is this the little block that there is for students? I never realized it because it came to me easily. So then you kind of analyze that and you dissect that part and you simplify it and teach it to the students. So this lockdown period, as Professor Mani earlier said, has been a revelation of sorts for me. I've done a lot of re-engineering, reinventing uh, my advantages, putting them to good use, and trying to keep myself busy and keep the world around me entertained as well. So today is one of those webinars where I have shared what I have experienced, and I hope you all have quite understood what I've said, because I tried not to get deep into the intricacies of music. I was supposed to speak for 25 minutes, but I think I've run to more than 35 minutes. That's what happens when you invite artists, because they get lost in what they do. Yes, Professor Mani, I'm going to hand over the charge to you right now.
All right. Trust me, we have really no regrets that you overshot your time. Such a passionate sharing of your own experiences and your journey. I think on another occasion and another day, someone would have thought that this was a lesson for managers on how they should develop subordinates in their organization, how they should groom people around them, and make organizations great. So I wish I had actually titled this session as Lessons for Managers from Music, but that's exactly what you've done for us, and really wonderful sharing. Thank you very much. It would be very, very unfair if I didn't make this request to you, that having someone whom we consider as a nightingale of music, at least one song would really enthrall all of us. If you would be able to do that for us, please.
What would you like me to sing? I don't know how to zero in on the right song right now.
Well, I leave it to you. One of our favorites, which I think was a lockdown special, was the ever famous Paramacharya written song Maitrim Bhajate, which is the universal peace song. In case you can render a couple of lines, it would be wonderful.
Sure, Shisya. I'm just going to sing a small
Sure.
Kannada Dasara Pada before that.
Okay.
A quick run and then Maitrim Bhajata. Let's finish with that.
Okay.
Hari Smarane Mado Nirantare Hari Smarane Mado Nirantare Hari Smarane Mado Nirantare Paragatige Idu Nidhara Hari Smarane Mado Nirantara Paragatige Idu Nidhara Hari Smarane Mado Nirantara Sri Shapurandara Vithala Sri Shapurandara Vithala Rayana Sri Shapurandara Vithala Rayana Srishtige Odayana Mutti Bharisini Srishtige Odayana Mutti Bharisini Hari Smarane Mado Nirantara ಇದು ನಿರ್ಧಾರ ಹರಿ ಸ್ಮರಣೆ ಮಾಡೋ ಹರಿ 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 मैत्रीं भजत अखिल हृजेत्री मैत्रीं भजत अखिल हृजेत्री मैत्रीं भजत अखिल हृजेत्री आत्मवदेव आत्मवदेव परानपि पश्यत युद्धं त्यजत स्पर्धां त्यजत युद्धं त्यजत स्पर्धां त्यजत त्यजत परेष्वक्रममक्रमणम् त्यजत परेष्वक्रममक्रमणम् मैत्रीं भजत अखिल हृजेत्री मैत्रीं भजत अखिल हृजेत्री.
Wow, that was really very soulful, very, very soulful. And for those few of us who might not have heard this Maitri Bhajate composition, I must tell you that this was an original composition about 40 years ago, sung by the revered Srimati M.S. Subbalakshmi, who was again a doyen of music for India at the United Nations. And during the lockdown, Sudhaji attempted something very, very unique. She got together about 47 musicians from different parts of India during the lockdown and integrated them into performing and rendering this song. And this is available on YouTube. And I have shared that link with you. Trust me, Sudhaji, that's part of the daily routine for many of our lives. And we look up to that as something which is very, very soulful. And I have shared it in the chat box also. That's really wonderful effort.
Thank you.
All right, I have a couple of questions and I'd request your response because some people have found a lot of meaning in what you were saying, and therefore some quick questions have come up. One of the first questions that we are bringing up to your notice is in the Guru Shishya equation, for the Sishya, is attitude more important or aptitude more important?
I think both the A's are important.
Sure.
Aptitude is very important initially. And then, of course, the attitude is also very important because I don't know what exactly the person means when he or she is asking about the attitude. The attitude, I would think, I would interpret, is that a total surrender should be the attitude of the Shishya unto the Guru. Learn the best aspects, grasp the best things that the Guru stands up for, and bring it into your own life, kind of integrate it into your life, find ways of integrating. And hence that aptitude is very important too. So it's just a P that you add, but both the A's are important.
All right. Based on your rich knowledge of music, can you help us with some of the ragas which can help us relax in these difficult times?
Yes, that is a difficult question to answer because when we say those ragas that help you relax, there are certain ragas that are supposed to be those tablets for relaxation. But believe me, every raga can be a relaxation for you. because each one relates to a particular raga in a different way. There are some who love ragas like Desh, Brindavani, Yaman, Sindhu Bhairavi, Vijavanti, Kapi. These are ragas that some would think are extremely, relaxing. There might be some who relate to Todi, Kalyani, Kamboji, Shankarabharanam, Bhairavi, those Gana ragas. They feel that when they listen to these ragas, they completely forget the challenges that await them outside that space. They say they go into a state of oblivion, of a space where they have that healing. Those ragas heal them, the swaras heal them. So it's really up to the person to decide which raga is relaxing for that person. But I would definitely recommend listening to Anand Bhairavi, Riti Gaula, Kapi, Desh. These are ragas that are, just the swaras themselves heal the troubled mind. Let me just sing a little bit of Desh for you.
Sure.
See, when you say, it feels like somebody is really kind of saying, everything is okay, everything is okay. Those swaras have that intrinsic quality of healing. That's what I feel. So it really depends on the person, on the mental alertness or the connect that they bring to the raga that they listen to.
All right. I think that was a wonderful response, and a response with music was really very, very wonderful to listen to. Another question that some people have in mind is, how different is learning and teaching on a digital platform like Zoom vis-a-vis the traditional Guru Shishya, which you so beautifully explained as part of your life journey? What are some of your experiences, if you can throw some light?
See, learning and teaching happen 100% when the guru is physically present. Because it's just not the sur, it's just not the swar. It's the way the guru sits, the way the guru holds the head, the face, the jawline. How the sangatis, when there are difficult embellishments that happen to a particular line, a lyric, how does the guru handle that? It's difficult to find all, to kind of, find all this present in a Zoom class. When you sit in front of the guru, you see, for example, Dasa Nina Pada Dasa Nina Pada Dasa Salakanu Baraya Bara. It's a very complicated compression of swaras in these two. Bara Krishna. But how does the frown happen? How does the guru keep the face or move this face when she sings the swara? That's important. So you watch every little thing when the guru is present. Not that you cannot watch the guru on Zoom, but the Zoom somewhere limits this feeling of being in flesh and blood with the guru. It is a standby arrangement, a wonderful tool to reach out to students across the world, because it's, leave aside the pandemic situation. Even otherwise, it's so difficult to imagine somebody who's pursuing a master's in biotechnology in New Zealand, Auckland, if her passion in music is also running parallelly. You can't expect her to come to Chennai and sit and learn with me. It's easier for her to do weekend classes on Zoom, more practical, more realistic. And hence, I would definitely say that learning via Skype or Zoom is recommended to a certain point. It really helps to internalize music. But whether it is a complete tool, uh, I would say no. I would always be a votary of physical presence of the Guru.
Sure. In fact, in lighter vein, we often say this, that you might have all kinds of technology like 4G and 5G, but you can never replace the Guruji. And I think that's precisely what you said in your own.
True,
Right?
absolutely right. Yes.
Absolutely. Indrapalji, you had a question. Indrapalji is a past president of the Bombay Management Association and a very senior industry professional. Over to you, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Sudhaji, my question is that from what you said and I've heard earlier, Guru Shishya Parampara is a bit elitist in the sense there are few gurus and there are few dedicated or right kind of students with right attitude and aptitude.
Yes.
But in our country, we have a problem of millions.
Yes.
So how far we can take? What could be an adaptation of this method so that not as exclusive training, but somewhere in between, a slightly lower level, but still a very good quality learning can be imparted?
Thank you for you this wonderful question, because it really helps me to explain a different aspect of teaching and learning as well. We can have teachers in schools. I have always expressed my wish for music and dance to be taught at grassroots level, starting right from the primary school. It would help not only create artists, but it would also build an audience. See, if somebody has to appreciate a top-notch performer on stage, you would have to have the knowledge. And how does the knowledge come? The knowledge comes with the learning. And how will the learning happen? Only if it's part of the curriculum at school level. The earlier that we start this kind of learning for a child, we can start it when the child is about 5 years old. Teach them the basic things, not get into the deeper layers of what classical music is. Teach them lighter songs about peace, about the environment, about the beauty of nature, about our desh, about how beautiful this country is, what is the natural bounty that the country holds. There are many songs, the lyrics that we can find, that we can dig out, apply very simple tunes to them, and start to teach children at a larger level. I have done that actually on a few occasions. I have been to government schools during the Joy Giving Week, which used to come around September, October. Go to the government schools, corporation schools, sing for them for half an hour, and then ask them to sing along with me. I would sing a line. I would say, Madhava Murali Hare Mukunda. They would all sing, Madhava Murali Hare Mukund. It might not have the finesse of being absolutely perfect, or have the nuances of what classical music might have, but they would be able to repeat that. So I taught them a couple of patriotic songs of Subramanya Bharatiyar. So it can be done as you have recommended, but I think it requires a given, a kind of an acceptance on the side of the school organizers, on the side of the artists, and from the government to lay down a fundamental rule that maybe 2 hours of a week, 2 hours in a week, they should promote music or dance.
No, I
Another interesting question is, what should modern educators learn from the Guru Shishya Parampara? I think you are the right person to answer this question, having traversed the whole journey from the traditional model to the model that we have got into because of the pandemic and the technology. So, what could be some of the lessons?
The first thing would be direction. in which you want to travel in life, on what is the path that you would like to take. Focus on that direction and bring the focus into that direction. And then, of course, once you arrive at the direction and you start walking that trail, the next thing that you need is discipline. How do you apply the time that you have, the talent that you have, the advantages that you have? How can you move that into this direction? How can you fit that? So now, for example, during this pandemic period, I have learned so much. Believe me, I have been a student more than a giver. I have learned so much about the computer, about the phone, the iPhone, how I can, handle this whole thing. All these episodes that we did, I did them by myself at home. There was no recording studio that I went to. Even this Maitrin Bhajata with 47 voices, it was done from home. Every artist recorded it at home. We compiled that in a studio. We sent it to a studio. And then from the studio, they sent the complete audio video to me. And then I kept finding the errors in that. Went back to them, came back to me, went back to them, came back to me. And then we finally arrived at the finished product. So I guess discipline matters.
Sure.
How do you apply yourself to a situation? And then, of course, dedication. Once you fix yourself on a certain path, the dedication with which you work towards your goal is extremely important. There should not be diversion. There should not be, people would be saying a lot of things. Just don't pay heed. If you think your heart says this is the right path, walk on it.
All right. There are lots of questions, but I guess we respect your time and the fact that we had mentioned to you that we would request your time for an hour and a couple of minutes here and there. But we always believe that the learning will continue forever. And many of us who have met you today will continue to interact with you on the digital platform also. I'm going to take the liberty of just asking one more question before we kind of draw this session to a pause officially. And that question really pertains to, in this Guru Shishya Parampara, it is always understood that the Guru learns from, the Guru is someone who teaches the Shishya. Have you come across situations where the Guru also learns from the Shishya? What in management jargon we call reverse mentoring. You did speak about mentoring, you did speak about coaching, but here we are talking about the Guru learning from the Shishya.
Well, I can't say that about my guru, MLVMA, but I can say that about myself. I have learned from my Shishyas. I have learned a few lessons from them. There are two students particularly who I have learned from. One is Sangeeta, who lives in New Jersey in the United States. So when I run into a problem with a raga, say I have some doubts as to where and how I can elaborate the raga, then I just have to message to Sangeeta and say, listen, this particular raga, I'm not able to move beyond a point. Do you think you have some opening for it? So she'll bring the key and unlock it. And I'm telling you the truth. I mean, many ragas, I have found a solution to handle the raga completeness with a few suggestions from her. There's another disciple I have called Deepika. She has taught me a lot with how to handle technology. So when I did the Expressions Espresso, I ran into a lot of problems. She was the one who came on, and she would come on Skype or come on the video call on WhatsApp and say, ma'am, Amma, next this one, do this, do that. And for a few sessions, she was with me backstage, supporting me. So I think that part of what MLVMA said applies over here. She would always say, keep the openness flying, both the mind and the heart. Don't ever restrict yourself to learning. So every day, I feel I learn every day, some aspect of absorbing something from someone.
All right, I guess what we have learned most from you today is the humility with which you present yourself. I think for a person who has so much laurels, so much of achievement, so much of accolades, and the wonderful work that you have been doing, the biggest lesson for me today was the manner in which you presented yourself and your thoughts with such ease and humility. We really are indeed very, very obliged to you. And I'm going to request my colleague on the executive committee of the Bombay Management Association. Incidentally, he's a great music lover himself and is involved in so many music groups himself. I'm going to request our committee member, Chartered Accountant RSR Murthy, to please do a small wrap up and propose the vote of thanks on behalf of all of us. Over to you, Murthy.
Thank you, Professor Mani, and Namaskaram, Madam. We listen to you in so many concerts and we are enthralled.
Thank you.
And it is such a pleasure to be hearing you today, not music from you, but words of wisdom. Madam, I could say that today's event has been a great learning, I think, for the Sishyas, for the Gurus, and of course, what we are most concerned with in the Bombay Management Association, that is managers. I'm happy to recount a few of those, at least those that I have noted, one of which is Guru Shishya Parampara, the title of this event. These are all very nice words, which in today's times, we look as something which were in the distant past. So the greatest learning, I think, has been that it is still there, may not be in the physical sense of living with a teacher, but in terms of the wonderful qualities that this ancient Indian concept has for all Sishyas. I think it's more about the qualities of a Sishya: dedication, perseverance, passion, eagerness to learn from the teacher.
Yes.
And of course, looking at the teacher as the sole role model in the learning journey. These are some wonderful qualities I think the students of music will today learn from you. And not just students of music. I mean, I'm also a teacher of management in addition to my corporate responsibilities as a manager and as a consultant. And I would say that these are qualities which would keep students in every other field in good stead.
Thank you.
So thank you so much, madam, for that. And one interesting thing that I have come across in this conversation is about, that something which deals with the dilemma of a number of youngsters who are pursuing, whether it is chartered accountancy or engineering or whatever other academic pursuit. Some of these are actually talented, but in the notion that they have to pursue their career maybe more seriously than is necessary, they give up. As an example, on music. At least in my limited knowledge, I do see such youngsters around and feel very sad that talent is not blossoming. I mean, I would say this way: if a Sudha Raghunathan thought that music is secondary and IAS is primary or economics is primary, probably we won't have a Sudha Raghunathan in front of us. I think that's a very important message, of course, to all the parents here to communicate to the children, because to a large extent, the teachers, the parents are also the culprits in this wrongful sacrifice of a God-given talent. And madam, of course, you have given a message to the gurus also through your own guru, ML Masanta Kumari Garu, your London experience, where she has been so graceful. And I think that's how the guru has to be. There is a message for the gurus also. And very importantly, to the management community, which is today listening to you, you have also given a message. In your words, of course, you don't allow the challenge to become bigger than you. I will put it in the context of a manager who faces so many dilemmas, problems in the course of his work. I think we can never allow a problem to become bigger than us. And that's the spirit with which I think successful managers work, just as successful musicians like you work. There is a message for all managers in that. And of course, the fifth important learning which I have received today from what you have said, even I'm one of those who thinks, though I'm a very small little organizer of music programs, I do think that classical music does not go with, let's say, a cine music. I think that's a notion which personally I need to correct, number one. But I'm pretty sure every aspiring musician has also to correct himself or herself, because you have just said that every genre of music has its own merit to offer. Keeping that open mind and learning and listening to music of all formats is very important. So those are some of the wonderful lessons, madam. I'm sure I would have missed some of those, some more. But having said that, uh, uh, on behalf of BMA and all of us who have been viewing this program, thank you very much. You have been very simple, modest, and so eager to share your knowledge and wisdom. I'm sure it will keep many of us in good stead. Thank you very much for sparing your valuable time.
Thank you. Good days ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Arisad, for that wonderful wrap up. Even if anybody had missed some of the golden nuggets of wisdom, I think you could summarize it very, very nicely. Thank you once again. And Sudhaji, I'll request your presence for another 2 minutes to have a group photograph along with you in the
Sure.
digital format for all of us to keep a memory of this evening we spent with you. Can I request
Yeah.
everyone to put on their videos quickly? We have a very efficient team from the Bombay Management Association Secretariat, Andrila, Lakshmi, and Supriya. They do all the hard work behind the scenes, including taking the digital photographs, so that we can cherish this lovely moment that we spent together learning such wonderful things this evening. Over to you, girls, to get this moment captured at the earliest. And while I do that, and I request you to put on your videos, may I inform you that day after tomorrow, we have BMA's Innovation Conclave, where we have over a spread of 2.5 hours, two professors talking to us about innovation. One professor, Ranjan Das from IIM Calcutta, and one professor, Rangapriya Kannan from San Diego University. Both of them have done pioneering research in the field of innovation and will be presenting their perspectives. Next Wednesday, in the Wednesday Wisdom webinar, tune in to listen to someone who has had spectacular achievements in the armed forces. Captain Raghunathan is going to be the guest with us next Wednesday evening, sharing with us so many lessons that managers need to learn from the armed forces. That's the kind of lineup for the remaining days in January. The February schedule will be up in a couple of days, and we look forward to all your active participation at that point in time also. I've got a green signal from the efficient team that they have completed the photograph. Thank you so much once again, Sudhaji.
Thank you.
I'm just wondering whether it was more delightful listening to you speaking or listening to you singing. But I think I would believe that either way, it was a delight being with you here this evening. We are indeed obliged. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good evening.
Thank you. My
Thank
pleasure
you.
always.